Welcome back to the Breaker Bros, and tonight we're going to react, or I guess have our comments about Noah Fant signing, and then I guess what we're looking forward to the first preseason game. But I guess to get it started, do you have any initial reactions to the Noah Fant signing?
I was surprised by it a little bit because I remember they said that they were going to host them, and I was like, oh well, they're not going to sign them, and then they signed them.
Well, that and I think he went to visit with the Saints and Dolphins, and for sure, if he would have signed with the Dolphins, I think he would have had more of a, I guess, prominent role. But with the Bengals, it's not like he's first on the depth chart, not technically. I do think he's going to get a lot of looks, but he's not obviously going to be like the main guy here in Cincinnati, like he would have probably with the Dolphins or even the Saints.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because I mean you see another guy from Iowa and you immediately think of Eric All. I mean we liked watching him play. It's gonna be interesting because I mean, to me the number one hole on the team, assuming everybody came back, was guard, and you know you don't expect them to go after tight end, but maybe you have enough guys to throw it to. Doesn't matter. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is like, I guess the word on the street is that they are still looking at guard. I don't think they're necessarily done. Now that's not obviously like official or anything like that, but it sounds like their intentions is obviously to extend Trey Hendrickson, and then I think that's when they may look at guard. But I didn't really like when he came to visit. It was kind of like maybe he's just doing his due diligence, or maybe he was going to use the Bengals to get a better offer, maybe from another team, essentially. Yeah. But then when he actually signed and it became more of a reality, and I guess the more I learned how they were going to use him, and I guess speaking of Eric All, I think he's going to play more of that role, and I think that's actually going to be a pretty big deal because with Fant or when Eric All was in. It kind of hid like what the Bengals were going to do, because I mean, you pretty much know how it is. If Kasecki's in, it's probably going to be a passing play. If Sample's in, it's most likely going to be a run.
Right.
But if you have someone like All where you can kind of disguise things, I think it's going to open up more things because it's going to keep the defense a little bit more on their heels. And then Fant looks to be a pretty good athlete too. Like he's got pretty good speed and playmaking ability after the catch.
So
I
mean,
think
he's a first round pick, so should be a good athlete.
Yeah, I kind of did a little bit of research as far as like, I mean, outside of the video that we just watched before the stream, but yeah, it was just more or less like he was a cap casualty. I think the last 4 years he had like 1,400 yards and 5 touchdowns in total over the last 4 years. So I guess he's have a limited production. Which seems kind of weird because if you just watch this film and like even like the short clips that we've seen on Twitter while he's a Bengal, like he just looks fast, or he looks like he can be pretty dynamic, especially with the ball in his hands. So I think he made the right decision, obviously, to play with Burrow, because I think they're going to be able to maximize his ability. And then I think just being on the Bengals, they're going to be able to disguise things a little bit more. I don't think he's that great of a blocker, at least from what I heard. He's like okay, he's like good enough.
I mean, I looked up his data. I want to share that. Let's see here how we do that. And so if you look at him, I mean, he's got a run block grade of 42, which I think on the PFF scale is not good.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the grade, I think really what it comes down to is that he can do some of the inline blocking. So yeah, obviously he's not great at it. From what I understand, he's okay. Like he's good enough, at least good enough to where you can disguise things. Like if he's in and he's like inline, it could still be a pass potentially.
Yeah. Okay. So overall grade, they say he's like the 22nd best tight end.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like I would assume he would have more touchdowns. Just I guess being the way he is, he's 6'4", and I think he ran like a 4.5, and you would expect him to have a little bit more touchdowns. And I think that's really what he's going to help the Bengals with a lot too, is with the red zone situations. To have another option like that, it's going to be huge. Because that's at least 4 players, I think, that's either 6'3" or taller. Because you have Higgins, Gesicki, Fant, and Yosavash. So I feel like adding Fant will definitely help with their red zone efficiency. Even though I don't think they were necessarily that bad at it last year. I think statistically they're one of the better teams, I think. But having a guy like Fant, I think, is going to make it way more efficient.
Yeah. I'm looking at his run block grades. They don't have high run block grades, not good pass block grades, but I don't know how that works. I don't know who a good, I guess a good comparison would be
I would say maybe Laporta.
Well, let's look at Drew Sample. I mean, you can see, well, here you go. Receiving, pass block, run block. So these two. So Sample's like a,
which is weird because
50.
Those grades don't look good at all, but supposedly he's our best like inline blocker tight end. So
yeah,
seems kind of weird.
Okay, so we liked Eric All, and look at his run block grade, or is that 77?
No, he was
pass block, run block was like a 50,
which was kind of weird because it seemed like it was better than that. But it could have just been because the better plays really stuck out more than the bad plays.
The surprising bit is Tanner Hudson got ranked high for blocking.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Tanner Hudson is that he fumbled on the 1 yard line in the first game, and he just never really recovered from that. From like, I guess the fan perspective. Although I do think he's going to make the team this year. I think he might be a lock.
Yeah, they're just rolling with a bunch of tight ends this year. It's weird.
Well, because he's basically, the way I look at it, he's basically Gesicki's backup. Like, he's basically Gesicki light. You know, he's not like as good as Gesicki, but he's good enough. He can still cause mismatches in the passing game. So like, I can see a situation where they may keep 5 tight ends and keep 5 receivers. And I think Charlie Jones might be the odd person out if they do decide to keep only 5 receivers, which I doubt. I think they'll still go 6, but I think they might go 5 tight ends. 5 tight ends, 3 running backs, and then 9 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
But in the long run, I think it's a good move, and I will like this move even more if they extend Hendrickson and then go after a guard. One of those veteran guards. Helpful. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what they're doing, and it feels like the one they may be targeting might be Scherf, or however you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that makes the most sense if they truly are, because the word on the street they've had, I guess, communication.
Which street?
Well, it's just like, I guess, Bengals Twitter. Like, I've heard
Bengals Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the people that are really into it and kind of keep up with things, and I guess a little bit in the know. It sounds like the Bengals are still looking into that, and if that's the case, the signing would make a lot more sense. Because to your point, you would think they would prioritize guard, or at the very least, maybe even safety over tight end, because it feels like our tight end situation is really not that bad. I think they pretty much know what they have in the tight ends. Now, obviously, if you had someone like Fant, I think it makes the depth on the tight end for the tight ends a lot better. Plus, he overall makes the offense a little bit more dynamic, and like with his, I guess, if you insert him if you're going to use him like Eric All, I think it could open up a lot more things too. So I don't know. It feels like this has a makings of like the offense was really good last year, but they've set themselves up to possibly be even better this year. But it's all going to be dependent on the guard situation. But theoretically, it's like they can't technically get worse than what they were last year. You'd think, but knowing the Bengals,
I
they
don't
could
know.
prove us wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess speaking of that, and I guess going
yes.
into the Eagles preseason game, I guess some of the things that we're looking at is it feels like I guess part of our offensive line because with Shamar Stewart and him finally signing, it seems like he's making a lot of noise, like consistent noise, and it seems like a lot of people are starting to get excited with Shamar Stewart because he's been causing a lot of pressures, a lot of batted passes, even sacks, or would most likely be a sack in a game. But with that said, it seems like Orlando Brown Jr. has gotten beat a couple of times by some of the younger players. And
I don't know if that's good or bad.
well, it's good in the sense that, well, if we drafted the people that we should have drafted and, like brought back the right people, then yeah, it's a good thing. But if if Orlando Brown Jr. lost a step, then that could be a huge issue on top of, just starting a rookie guard and, playing another veteran on the other side that isn't like a top end guard.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think the Bengals are kind of built. Like I think they can get away with just average or maybe slightly below average guard play. Like they can get away with that with how efficient and how quickly you can get the ball out of Burrow's hands. But at the same time, it's like you're playing with fire. It only takes one hit. It's like why even risk it? But I really do think the Bengals. It would make the Noah Fant signing a lot more sense if they did bring in a veteran guard. One of the ones that. Because it feels like there's always been three that people keep talking about.
Yeah.
Reiser, Schwerf, and then Hernandez, which I think he posted something on Twitter more recently where he said he's medically cleared. And I think he just had a visit with the Cardinals. So I'm interested to see if maybe the Bengals bringing him in. But obviously it seems like a lot of the focus is on Trey Hendrickson still. Because I don't know if the Bengals are truly serious about this year and, they really want to get off to a fast start, then I feel like they got to sign Trey Hendrickson soon. Like it sounds like they're trying to get the starters to play a little bit more in the preseason. And I don't know if this first game is the one that they're really going to treat as more like the dress rehearsal to the real season. I think that's more likely the second game.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was up to me, like I would play maybe you would rest Orlando Brown Jr., but outside of that, I would play all the starting offensive linemen and get them out there first against the Eagles and not start Burrow and just kind of get them play a few series to get the communication down and, live reps, and then throw Burrow in there next week with some of the key starters and just have him play a few series. And then I would take him out. Like I get where you want to get him a little bit of action, but I just think the way the preseason is kind of set up, you can't really mimic the season that well within the 3 weeks. Cause like this week is a Thursday game.
Yeah.
And then the following, I think their second week is actually a Sunday night game. And then after that, they only have 5 days. So I doubt they're going to play the starters in the second week into the third week. And traditionally, the last preseason game, starters typically don't play. It's usually the fringe players that play a lot to see if they make the team. So to me, it makes them. Maybe they'll play Burrow a series or two this go around or this preseason game. But
we got to interrupt this. Someone hit us with a question, and this is the type of question I'd like to see you answer because you are always the most realistic here. There you go. I'll read it. You answer. What are the realistic hopes for the Bengals this year? Thanks for the comment.
I think realistically, and what you should start for is winning the division. I think you got to start with that. I think the focus is obviously not going 0-2 or starting the year 0-3. Start off strong.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in a position to be able to win the division. And then start with that, because you win the division, you at least have one home game going into the postseason. But I would say realistically, they could win the division. I don't know. It's kind of like last year, right? It's like the way the team is set up.
That's your realistic hopes. I feel like you're downplaying what you really think.
Well, I mean, realistically, I think the offense could be better than last year, just based off of what's happened this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then really it all hinges on the defense. Are they going to take a step forward, or are they going to be the same, or possibly even take a step back? I mean, logically, you would think they would take a little bit of a step forward because they were so bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't want that to be, what's the right word? I guess a scapegoat. But no, I think realistically they can win the division. And I think that's saying a lot because they're in a division with the Ravens, which I think a lot of people have the Ravens as a Super Bowl contender, most likely going to win the division. But I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than that. I think the Bengals are going to be in a pretty good position throughout the year, especially if they can start off hot. Fingers crossed. But I think the focus should be just winning the division, and I think they can.
Okay.
I think if they can
win in the division.
Yeah, start with that.
No prediction beyond that. We'll start thinking more about it as we get closer to the season. I mean, because I don't think you know this, but a week or two before the season, we'll go through all the games, and you'll get Josh's real prediction. I think one year the Super Bowl year, you hit it pretty good, and then last year it was kind of a miss, but last year doesn't count because we didn't have any defensive linemen to start the season. So I think the defense is going to get better because I think they had a lot of injuries last year, and they started the season without a defensive line. So I think that they should. The thing that killed the Bengals last year was stopping the run, and I think they're in much better shape to stop the run to start the season than they were last year.
Yeah, no,
we started Larry Guy for a little bit.
Well, speaking of that, like TJ Slanton, is that right? Slayton, yes. The defensive tackle that we signed from Green Bay, who had a really good run stop grade, or I guess run defense grade, he's making a lot of noise in camp. So this feels like night and day versus like the last defensive tackle that we tried to bring in from Houston, Rankins. So to your point, I do think the run defense is going to be a little bit better. And plus, I think that was the whole point of going after linebackers. That seemed to be a pretty big focus in the offseason.
Yeah. Now I wanted to, because you wanted to talk about what we're looking for in the preseason game. So that was like my number one thing is I was surprised by the focus in the draft on linebacker. It kind of caught me off guard. And not so much that they picked a linebacker, but that they picked a linebacker in the second round after, like, I can't remember his name, but the linebacker from Alabama was supposed to be like a top 12 pick. And he was available when the Bengals picked at Shamar Stewart, right? And he slipped all the way to like the end of the first round. So I thought if you're going to get a linebacker, why wouldn't you get the guy that graded the best, the guy from Alabama? But they picked, I can't remember his name. Who did we pick again?
Stewart in the first round?
The second round, the linebacker.
Oh, Knight.
Yeah,
Demetrius Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. So him and, let's see, like the other thing that popped out to me on the depth chart, let me see if I can pull it up, is so you look at linebacker, so you got Demetrius Knight starting, not a surprise, but Barrett Carter, right?
It was also Campbell. That's the one you were talking about.
The
linebacker.
Oh, yeah. Jihad Campbell. Yeah, because I mean,
I think he had injury concerns too. I think that was part of it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I'm not judging. I don't mean to be critical of the pick itself. I'm just explaining why I was so surprised when they picked Demetrius Knight in the second round. Because I was fully on board with the guard train. I thought
I think part of it was that was their guy, at least Golden's guy. From
that's
the way they talk about him now.
I just was surprised by it, so I'm interested to see how he looks. And then also, I heard a lot about Barrett Carter being like they were surprised that he was available when they picked him, that he's also someone who could be like a NFL starter.
Plus, Oren Burks, the guy that we got from the Eagles, that's like another like. There was a heavy emphasis on linebackers, and part of the reason was they got linebackers that kind of could do a little bit of everything. And I think that's part of Al Golden's defense is that I think we're going to see a lot of pressure. I don't know how much they're going to show in the preseason because they generally try to keep things vanilla. But at least from what I could tell from the highlights throughout training camp is that pressure is coming from everywhere.
Yeah,
whether it's free safety,
some really high grades too.
Oh no, he's a solid pick. Like when we signed him in the offseason, that was a speculation that he was going to fill in for Pratt. Like,
yeah,
like I think some people were kind of caught off guard. Well, right. I think the only reason why people didn't like Knight was because he was 25, or technically he was 24 when he was drafted, but I think now he's 25. But it's like, who cares? Like, if you can draft a guy that's like perfect for your system, and if he could be a plug and play difference maker on the defense, who cares? It's like that's like worth a second round pick easily. If he can come in and be like a true starter and be dependable, then to me it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just weird because they've got 3 new linebackers, and I guess they're running a nickel. So that seems like a lot of linebackers when you only play 2. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of sets where technically there's going to be 3 linebackers on the field. So I think you're going to see that more often this year than what we saw last year. What coach is on the hot seat this year? I guess you could put Zach Taylor on there if he starts 0-2 again. If he doesn't do good this year, if they miss the playoffs again, he will be fired for sure.
Oh wow!
There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay, I'm gonna go with whoever's coaching the Browns because I feel like they purposely set up like a 3-ring circus up there so they could tank for Manning.
I would say, Browns, the Dolphins. Because I heard potentially Saban might come back to the NFL. So I think that
are they going to allow like amigos on the sideline?
Who?
Well, you know those carts you ride.
Oh, for Saban? You doubt the front office expects to give Knight a second contract, so his age really isn't a factor. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with Drew on that one. I mean, it's a second round pick.
They just gave BJ Hill a second contract. He's 30 this year. They're about to re-sign.
It's a second round pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I get he's a bit older, but it's not like he's been playing 7 years in college football. You know what I mean? Like
years.
I think he just started late. Like I think he got his degree from Georgia Tech initially, and then he went back.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm more concerned about how long it takes for them to play. Like, if you got a guy, you pick him in the second round, and he starts immediately. Fine.
If Taylor gets capped, who would you want? It's probably unpopular
you want Nick Saban, right?
I mean, possibly, but no, I would actually take John Gruden. That would be my initial thought.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
You wouldn't want Gruden with Burrow? I mean, that would just be crazy.
I don't know. Run the split Y banana. I don't know. I feel like Gruden's awesome on TV, but I mean, he's been out of the NFL for a long time. I mean,
no shot Saban goes back to the NFL. He has way too much to lose. He isn't going to risk tarnishing his legacy.
Hey, tell that to Bill Belichick.
I think he made a comment. I think he made a very specific comment more recently where he said, because someone had asked him if maybe he would go back to the NFL, and the way he answered it was there just isn't an opportunity now, because obviously all the head coaches positions already accounted for. So I think there's a possibility, and I think if the right opportunity opens up, I could see Saban as a head coach for an NFL team next year.
Too old, man. Talk about Demetrius Knight being too old.
The coach for the Seahawks is old. He's like
That's true. He's old.
80. Pete Carroll.
Is Pete Carroll coaching the Seahawks now? I don't.
No,
think he
he's
is.
sorry. He's the Raiders head coach now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, the Raiders beat. What's the saying? Play to the beat of their own drum. I don't know. Yeah.
Pete Carroll's with the Raiders. Yeah.
I think,
sorry, it's
just
just
Seahawks have McDonald, that guy from the Ravens.
yeah, the Ravens. Yeah. See, that's another thing about the Ravens is that I feel like their defense is going to take another step back. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily bad last year.
Yeah.
But
I like it when you start slandering the other teams in the division. It's fun.
I'm just, my brain is kind of built that way. Anytime I feel like there could potentially be a leak or deficiency on their side, because I don't know. I feel like the Ravens,
the ones that drafted Jihad Campbell. So right?
No, didn't they get Mike Green? No, they got Ravens got Starks and Green.
Oh, okay.
And that's why like everyone loved their draft. I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, if Green, can play.
How does the secondary look for the Bengals this year? Better, same, or worse? According to the reports from various different sources,
from the street,
from the fans, from the reporters, the secondary looks better. They look faster. They're making more plays. It just seems like they're playing with a lot more energy this year. And I guess that was kind of like the theme last year was.
Well, they all got hurt last year.
Well, injuries was definitely part of it, but there seems to be like someone with Lou, and there seemed to be confusion on certain things, and you can kind of see that throughout the year because there'd just be games where like people were just wide open, and it was just a breakdown in the communication, and that seemed to be like the theme.
Remember, was last year the game against the Commanders?
Yeah,
where what's his face didn't throw an incomplete pass yet.
Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels still hasn't. Yeah, I knew it was somebody who's usually good.
Yeah, Eagles drafted Campbell. Yeah, that was another thing. Like people were freaking out that the Eagles somehow got him.
Well,
like
that's the thing. It's like you're like, oh, we don't want him. He might be hurt. And then the Eagles pick him. You're like, we should have picked him.
Thank you, Drew. I don't know how much longer the Ravens can keep going with their current roster construction. That's true because they are trying to re-sign or I guess extend Lamar Jackson because the next couple of years his cap hit is like 70 million plus. So they're trying to extend him now. Just to add to your initial point, I know it works with Lamar's skill set, but the moment he loses a step, the whole thing comes down. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting with the Ravens because, like I said, they are trying to extend Lamar Jackson just to kind of reduce his cap hit the next couple of years, but then it's eventually going to hit him, right? Because like they're going to try to make him the highest paid player in the NFL. So that means he's going to have to be making what, 65 million plus per year, maybe even more. Maybe it's like 68. Lamar Jackson, like
who's making 65 now?
Whoever was the most recent that signed.
I can't keep track.
Whoops.
Yeah, we keep undoing each other's clippage
until it matters the most. Yeah, no, I mean that it's true. Like he's phenomenal during the season, but then I don't know. I think he's got to get that monkey off his back when it comes to the playoffs because it's like you can tell like he definitely overthinks things when it comes to the playoffs. Because even in the Bills game, like that first half was pretty rough.
Okay,
like he had a really bad
contract number 60 plus, so 61 then for Lamar.
Wait, what's Burrow then? Is Burrow 55?
he's up there. Yeah, something like that. I got to Google's it.
I feel like 65 is about right. But nonetheless, they're essentially going to be kicking the can down the road. So at some point, they're going to have to take the lump. So it's like, yeah, if they resign or extend Lamar Jackson, it's going to free up cap space for the next couple of years. But then, in order to get his, his yearly average up to 65 or whatever the new mark is going to be, they're eventually going to take that hit. So I agree with you, Drew. At some point, they're going to have to bite the bullet, and I think their window with the total amount of talent they have around, or I guess throughout their team, because I mean, if you look at the Ravens roster, I mean, they have a lot of talent, but they are paying for it essentially. I mean, I think they only have like 2 or 3 more years of realistically, probably 2 more years of what they're doing right now. Because they still have a few other players that they're eventually going to have to extend. Because Hamilton's not going to be cheap.
Okay, here we go. I found it. So, I'll turn off this commercial. Turn off that one. Patrick Mahomes. So average is 45, but then Josh Allen's 55. Then we got Dak Prescott.
So yeah, he's 60. So if Dak is 60,
well,
right?
You can't do that. If Dak is 60, then like all these guys should be above 60, but they're not.
Well, yeah, but it's all timing. It's whoever signs the contract last, right? So I'm thinking 65 is a realistic number. Like his yearly average.
Josh Allen signed his in 25, right? And Dak went in 24. I don't know. So Lamar's going to get what? 5 by 60, so 5 year, 300 million. Wait, it'll tell us, right? If we click this. So, right. So next year is, you're right. Next 2 years is cap hit is 74.5. That's high.
Extremely high. I think the number is 65 a year. I mean, because if not, then what's the incentive for him to do the extension? Well, I guess the signing bonus. There's always to get that money.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that they could cut him next year with only 35. Even though 35 million seems like an insane dead cap, but we're from Bengals land where, like but see, he's saving all that money by being his own agent. So,
if the Bengals miss the playoffs, it will be because of. I think bad coaching. It would definitely come down to the coaching. Like I said, I feel like if Zach Taylor and the Bengals miss the playoffs this year, I'm fairly confident he'll get fired.
Yeah, it's all about guard. If they don't make it, it's because of guards.
I don't know. I would have because then last year, because technically they had the 2 worst guards PFF graded last year, and they still had the best offensive in the league. It was their defense.
Make the playoffs.
Yeah, but it was the defense. It wasn't the offense.
I could still say it was the guards because they didn't make the playoffs. So, and I'll keep saying that.
I mean, technically, you're right because I mean, if they would have had better guard play, then they would have probably scored closer to 40 points a game versus the 35.
Yeah.
or 30,
or okay, how about that? We'll get rid of that. We'll say slow start. They need to win a game in September.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really comes down to coaching because, like, if you look at their roster, they have enough talent to be able to make the playoffs. I would think, especially compared to the top 14 teams now that make the playoffs? Yes, yeah. Right? Yeah. I guess the top 7. They should have a top 7 team in the AFC, I would think.
Okay. So does Mizzou have any players the Bengals should draft next year? Who should we be watching?
I'm like really like the next couple of years, I feel like it's got to be trench people, either offensive linemen, defensive linemen, or defensive backs,
Yeah.
or like
I
their
mean, they had a
premium.
tackle get drafted this year, right? I
I
can't remember
believe
his
Trevor
name.
Lawrence is the only notable QB up for a new deal. So if it ends up being 65, the Ravens are in trouble. I don't know, but does Lawrence reset the market? I don't think so.
Wouldn't he be the last one?
Wait, did he resign already? He may have actually.
No, I just meant like I just don't think he's that good.
Well, no. I mean, he like
Okay, so I guess there's not a lot of talent at Mizzou right now. All right.
does it Mizzou produce a lot of good offensive linemen though, or am I just like?
Well, this year they had a guy drafted in the first or second round.
I just
But I
thought
don't
in
know
general.
traditionally if that's true or not.
Yeah, because I feel like, I guess depending on how well Orlando Brown Jr. plays this year, they could be looking at another tackle early in the draft next year.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he plays well and it looks like he's still a pretty solid starter, I can see him getting extended. But if it looks like he loses a step,
Okay, we're not gonna show Pepe's last comment. We're not gonna take any.
go Chiefs. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not gonna put that up.
I'm not. Well, have a good night, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah. So Drew agrees with me. Lawrence isn't good enough.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if you're the Jags position, like I just let him go. Like if he's like at a certain number that doesn't make sense, you just let him go because it's like money you don't have to spend.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, either the player's good enough to carry you or he's not. And if he's not, then you don't pay him.
I just feel like in today's NFL, there's just so many first round QBs that always get recycled that like if it becomes too big of an issue, like they're going to be able to find someone that can at least be a servable, starter. So like they don't have to feel like they are in a position where they have to sign them at a like crazy deal. But I mean, if they do it, that'd be better for the Bengals. So it's like one less QB that to worry about in the AFC. Because I feel like the majority of the better QBs are still in the AFC right now, or at least it feels like that. At least the top four, right? Mahomes,
I don't know. I can't.
Burrow,
Can't
Jackson,
count.
Allen.
I'm sure there's somebody good in the NFC.
Well,
I can't think of them.
who's it? Goff? Is it the quarterback?
Yeah, Goff's pretty good.
I don't think Goff is that bad. I think maybe he might be underrated, but he might be.
Stafford. A lot of people like Stafford.
I like Stafford, but he's getting older, so it's like Stafford, Goff, and Love. I like Jordan Love. I think if I had to pick one out of all of them, I'd probably pick Jordan Love.
I feel like Jacksonville was going to change their name to Organizational Malpractice. No.
I would say so. I mean, it doesn't feel like they've had success in a long time. I think the last time they were. That's the right word.
NFC. Drew came up with an NFC quarterback, Jade Daniels. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, I can see that, but then I also feel like you got to do that multiple years in a row. Like it can't just be 1 year. Because I can see where it, from a stat perspective, I can see where Daniels takes a step back.
I love it. Everybody else is going to get worse. Bengals are going to get better. It's the best part about streaming with you, Josh. You're always positive about the Bengals. It's very uplifting.
I don't know. I just feel like it's the same thing that happened to the quarterback in Houston. Can't think of his name. Guy from Ohio State. Like he was gonna be the next best thing because he made the playoffs and he beat a few team or one team, and then
I didn't watch Jaden Daniels play much last year, but I watched him play against the Bengals, and he looked like the second coming of Jesus Christ out there.
no, he did that
I mean,
consistently throughout the year. It wasn't just one game, and that's why
that's the only game I saw, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, that guy's really good. I hope we don't have to play him again.
But the reality of the situation, it's the NFL, and people get paid a lot of money to figure out defensive schemes to slow you down. So they're gonna have a full offseason to know your tendencies and all that stuff. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that he had such a really good rookie year that he set the bar up high, and I think the NFL is a crazy animal. So I feel like when your expectations are that high, it's just more pressure that you have to perform. And so I can just see in a situation, like I said, statistically, he takes a step back just because I don't know, man. Like some of those throws just seem kind of lucky. Like, don't get me wrong, it was good, but it also seemed kind of lucky. And it's just like sometimes if you can catch lightning in a bottle, then great.
It felt personal. I mean, when I was watching, it felt personal. I was like, what did we do to him? Why does he keep doing that to us?
Well, I think part of it is that he kind of has what Burrow has. Like when he has the ability to stay calm when everything's like really hectic, and he just knows to make the right decisions. But I just feel like you give, the majority of NFL defensive coordinators a whole offseason to really study film. They're going to figure things out. It's just how the NFL is. Daniels is pretty good, but he also has one of the best OCs in the league, tailoring the offense perfectly for him. Plus, well, they did get, I believe they got Deebo Samuel, right? But then Terry McLaurin, like he's disgruntled. Like they don't know. It feels like, I guess technically he's holding in, but out of all the hold-ins, I think he's the one that might actually miss the most games. Because I feel like McLaurin for, I don't know, the last 2 or 3 years, he's been highly underrated. And I think finally he's got the recognition he probably deserves, and now he wants to get paid, kind of like Trey. But I feel like with him more specifically, like he's been grossly underpaid for a while, and now he's like kind of wanted to be recognized for it. So I think for him, this is pretty personal. And it seems like, because I think he's already requested for a trade. So long story short, I just like, it's not going to help Washington's situation with if McLaurin leaves. And yeah, they brought in Samuel, but it's going to feel a lot different without McLaurin. Because I always felt like he was always an underrated receiver. It always seems like he makes big plays consistently. Another Ohio State receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But Drew, what are you looking forward to this first preseason game? I guess another side note, I just want to see, like, obviously the rookies and a lot of the second-year players, and even some of the third-year players that haven't really had the opportunity to, like, battle, and Murphy, maybe even DJ Turner. Like, I want to see some of the younger guys get more action and see if there is any development, and see some of the things that you're hearing throughout training camp is consistent against other teams where you're not going to know all the plays. I think that's a benefit when you play your own team, is that you, after a while, you kind of pick up on things. So it'll be interesting to see if they can have the same results against a completely different situation or different team. Samuel's kind of washed up. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that. I mean, because I feel like he's had to deal with a lot of injuries throughout his career, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's washed up. I still think he could be a playmaker, but I think, because like, to me, McLaurin is like the speed guy, right? Where he's going to open up things, to where Samuel is more of like after the catch type of guy, where you can play him out of the backfield and you should be able to get those yak yards. But like, in theory, they should work well together, or pair well. But obviously, as one person's disgruntled and he's asking for a trade, there's a lot of things you got to turn around. You want to see how Dax Hill looks? from what I understand, the DBs look pretty good. Like seems like they're playing on a different level, and from what I understand, I guess Al Golden has a lot of plans for Dax Hill because the way I guess he's built, like you can do a lot of things with him. So I can see where they're gonna like blitz Dax Hill a little bit more, and I guess drop him in coverage and have him do a lot of different things than what he was doing last year. But I don't think they're going to show that much in the preseason, though. At the same time, I think they're going to maybe do a little bit some of the things that they're going to be doing, but I don't think they're going to show everything. Because I get a sense, like if you listen to a lot of the reports throughout training camp, it has been pretty consistent as far as where pressure is coming from, or from all different areas where pressure is coming from. Al Golden likes to show a lot of different things, and then he likes to have pieces that can do a lot of different things. But it seems like they're blitzing basically from all the different positions on the defensive end or on the defensive side. But I don't know if they said anything about it, but I know overall they said that they're going to have the starters play a little bit more in preseason, but I'm not sure if they actually said how much they're going to play in this game. It's just it's kind of a weird setup because they have this game and then there's 11 days off. Then they play Sunday night, and then the last game is I think it's on another Thursday, so they only get 5 days of rest, or maybe I guess that would be Friday. So I just feel like the preseason schedule is kind of weird to where you can't have like the normal. It's like back in the day when they had 4 preseason games. It was always like the first preseason game, they would like the starters would play a series or 2, and then the second preseason game they would play the first full quarter, and then the third preseason game they would try to play throughout the first half, and then the fourth preseason game they would just rest. And then when they got rid of the fourth preseason game, it seems like it's a lot different from team to team. Like it seems like there's like a mixed bag of. It seems like more teams don't play their starters now in preseason, or not as much as they used to in the past.
Okay, so when do you think Trey Hendrickson shows up?
My gut is it's either going to be early next week, or right before the season starts. And no,
okay. By show up, I mean I know he's in camp, but I mean like
the extension.
Yeah,
because like I said, because I feel like if they're truly serious about starting the year quickly, then they're going to want him to actually, start getting into the normal routine when they anticipate actually playing the starters. And I would assume it's the second preseason game is where they're going to have actually have a heavy emphasis playing the starters. So like theoretically, like if you want to have a quick start and you want to have all your people, then it would have to be like early next week, I would imagine.
Yeah, my gut is like he's gonna sign right before the first regular season game.
Yeah, and I can see that too. And because like if he has no intention of playing preseason, then yeah, it's pretty much going to go into the season or right before the season.
It's a vet move, man. Skip the preseason.
Oh, you think he's just doing that so he doesn't have to do all the practices?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people like Trey, they like to practice, like in a weird way that's fun to them.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
To a certain extent, I get what you're
doing
saying.
For free.
That's true. I mean, I get that perspective, but I can also see too where he would want to have the advantage going into the season and have those reps and be ready to go 100% full go week 1. And I feel like it's hard to do that if you don't get those reps throughout training camp. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like next week would be a big tell. Like if we don't hear anything early, then yeah, it's probably going to go like right until the season starts, which was going to suck. But if we can get him in like like early next week, then for the most part, everything will feel pretty normal. Basically have about a month to get ready for the regular season. And I feel like that would be more than enough time for him.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to sign off. You ready to sign off?
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, Drew.
Yeah, man. All right. Peace.